Okay, let's talk skill position player on offense.
Sure.
The Niners spend a top 45 pick on a wide receiver every year. They got some pretty good young wide receivers. They got some pretty good running backs, some pretty good tight ends. What do you think of this group?
Good. I like it. For what Shanahan loves to do, I think they're really, really solid. I like Brandon Ayuk. I like Deebo Samuel. That's the future. That's the 1-2 punch. But I like, obviously, George Kittle's the best tight end in the NFL. Sorry, Travis Kelce, but it's George Kittle. You look at the running backs, you can plug in me or you at running back. We'll get 500,000 yards in that running system. It doesn't matter who plays running back. So I think that's a no-brainer there. What it comes down to is they need an explosive threat down in the red zone between the 20s because they're really using gadget plays to get toward the goal line. If you notice all the plays, they're really tailored toward how close can we get to the goal line, because we know from 20, 25 yards out, there's not a big enough receiver on the outside between the 20s who can actually stretch the field vertically and play that 50-50 ball and win that 50-50 ball. There's no one on that roster.
No, they're all gadget guys. Yeah. So, hold on real quick. So, yeah, it's like I really like Brandon Ayuk, but I wouldn't have drafted him. I wouldn't have. It's interesting. Like, he's a terrific player. The Niners need a quarterback. In hindsight, they'd be better off right now with Jordan Love, who the Packers took, even though the Packers needed a wide receiver, needed a running back, had all kind of needs. But they're like, you know what? This is round one. I'm not drafting a wide receiver in round one. When are we going to be in a position to get a quarterback like this again? Really? Maybe never. I mean, when do you get a guy with that kind of talent available at 25 at quarterback? Not often. So the Packers made a really interesting move and got crushed while everyone said the Niners came away with the right pick. To me, the Packers were true to their draft philosophies, and the Niners don't have any.
Yeah. You're 100% correct, Grant. You basically, again, hit it on the nail. They don't have a draft philosophy. Like, what is their draft philosophy? What is their identity? They went into this last year's draft, and they knew going in that Joe Staley wasn't going to be back. Tristan Wirfs was sitting there. Why didn't you take Tristan Wirfs? Why did you reach for Javon Kinlaw? You know why they reached for Javon Kinlaw? I'll tell you why they reached for Javon Kinlaw. Because they fell in love with this height, weight, speed. They didn't look at the game film, and they didn't put two and two together and be like, okay, at 13, we should just take the best player on the board, which at the time was CeeDee Lamb. Okay, they should have taken CeeDee Lamb, or I would roll Tristan Wirfs as an alternative plan B.
I wouldn't take a wide receiver in round one, even though you can get good ones. You bust so hard. I mean, I think that's one of the higher bust rates. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb is very good. To me, it's harder to find a tackle like Wirfs than a wide receiver like Lamb. I mean,
that's true. That's true. 100% true. No, that's 100% true. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, to me, if I were a general manager, I would just do my best to emulate Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh isn't perfect, but they are consistent. They do the same thing every year. And I see the questions about Jimmy G and Ty Detmer. We're going to get to Jimmy right after. But with the Steelers, they always do the same thing. You've covered the Steelers. They will draft a defensive player in round one every year. They will draft a wide receiver no sooner than pick 50 every year. But they always get a good wide receiver right at the end of round two or at the beginning of round three. And then they go from there. I mean, they never like pick a player in round one. You're like, boy, that's really not what the Steelers would do. They're always the same. They're always the same, right?
Yeah. No, the Steelers are probably the best at drafting philosophy. GM Kevin Colbert does an excellent job. As you know, I cover the Pittsburgh Steelers as one of my teams. They are the class of the NFL. There's no other way around it.
Yes. And now it helps to be able to have Ben Roethlisberger. So the idea is don't get a wide receiver in round one. Wait until round two, and Roethlisberger will make them better. Well, the way I look at it is there's just so many good wide receivers that come out every year. Every year, people are like, this is the best wide receiver class we've ever seen. It's like, well, yeah, all the good athletes play wide receiver now. They all do. So you can wait. Chase Claypool, hell of a player.